It's the organization Judges Matters has condemned the attack on the Constitutional Court. A 36-year-old man allegedly smashed the windows of the Apex Court building in Braamfontein on Wednesday. Police said the suspect arrived and started making noise on the premises before he began using his hammer. Joining me now to talk to this and more, Judges Matter researcher Mbekezeli Benjamin. Mbekezeli, good to have you with us here on the Daytime Update. First and foremost, how do you see this latest breach of security? Do you believe that our court security is porous, that there is, even potential of guys waving hammers making it to our courthouses?
Good afternoon, Thabo, and good afternoon to the viewers. As Judges Matter, we are concerned about this attack on the Constitutional Court building. It is quite shocking to hear that someone could access the court premises of the Constitutional Court and do so much damage to the court building. But at the same time, we are aware that the Office of the Chief Justice has said that there have been other incidents where courts, there have been threats to other the security of other courtrooms across the country. That is also a concern to us. But I think we must also emphasize that the design of the Constitutional Court building allows for anyone to walk into the premises. So there are no fences, there are no gates in the court. And that is an important aspect of the design of the court because it's supposed to facilitate openness and transparency. But of course, we are concerned that that openness is not accompanied by enough security.
Yeah. The question of security, I suppose, when they were building and designing this particular building was not top of mind, in a sense, as you put it. They wanted to have this open feel, transparency. But 8 judges now from the 11 received threats after the judgment that ordered former President Jacob Zuma to go to jail. Do we need a new policy to tighten security at the court?
Well, I think there could be different measures that could be put in place to address the security issues. There are many creative ways of ensuring that a building is secure while also emphasizing the openness and the transparency. And we think the first and foremost is to think about ways of facilitating people access to the court and then build into that measures of security, which includes technology, because the security technology that is currently available on the market is sophisticated enough to pick up threats to the building without necessarily being so invasive that people are no longer allowed onto the court premises.
Yeah. Well, maybe the other question that we need to be talking about is what has happened that security has become such a major issue now in South African courts? Are these attributes of a fragile state? These attributes of an erosion of the legitimate authority that is able to protect such a critical infrastructure as the Constitutional Court?
Well, I think our court institutions and the judiciary as a whole still remains a very strong institution with a good reputation in public. But of course, I think there is just a general sense, considering what happened at the National Assembly as well, there's a sense that there is a bit of a lax in security for important institutions like the Constitutional Court and Parliament. So I think there needs to be a review of the security measures. There should be a threat assessment, for example, that is conducted on the premises of the Constitutional Court to make sure that attacks like this don't happen again. But that being said, though, I think there wasn't an individual, there wasn't a threat to individual judges in this particular instance because they have been working from home for the last while. So there wasn't a threat on individuals, but again, the message that it sends, a threat like this, it sends a message that the judiciary is being attacked, and that also is a concern for us.
Right, security, of course, costs money. How much security is enough?
Well, I'm not a security expert, so I can't really tell you the figures. But a security that is enough is one in which it will ensure that anyone with bad intentions coming to the court is deterred. And that's not only in the physical security, but in the sense that anyone who attempts to do something wrong will be quickly detected, dealt with and prosecuted if that is also necessary. But a good security or enough security is one in which it will ensure that the Constitutional Court remains a people's court and that people can access the court to not only feel that justice is done, but also to see that justice is done.
Yeah. I'm asking a question, of course, following the statement by the acting Chief Justice saying that there was an attempt, for example, at the Superior Court as well. So it raises the question of the adequacy or the inadequacy of the security that is in place. Are we finding ourselves in a situation where the security funding is competing with other maybe priority areas like new judges, interpreters and things like that, where it's much more critical resource at this time?
Well, I think overall the judiciary has been poorly funded in the last couple of years, especially the last 5 years, where we've seen serious cuts to its budget. But for security, the responsibility lies with the South African Police Service, especially at a national key point like the Constitutional Court. So, and we know that the police have been receiving higher budgets than most other departments. They have not suffered the cuts to other budgets. So we should really be asking serious questions of the National Commissioner and the Police Minister on what exactly they are doing to ensure that there's security, not only in the courts, but other important institutions. So I think the real question lies with the SAPS.
Do you believe with the factions continuing within the political elite, such attacks on key institutions that are meant to protect a democracy would continue to escalate?
Well, I'm not a political scientist, luckily, so I can't really answer that question. But I think we can't divorce the security threats to an institution like the Constitutional Court from what is happening in society generally. We know that from the police statistics that there have been a rise in crime, and so that also could be a factor that contributes to the security threat that we saw. And I'm not saying that the political issues can be easily discounted, but I'm not really sure to what extent they contribute to the threats that we saw this week.
Mbekezeli Benjamin, appreciate your time. Researcher at Judges Matter, and thank you for joining us and weighing in on that.